All right, yeah, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone is having a nice day or night. What's up, Ben?
Hey Dave, how is everyone?
Doing good. Drinking a coffee, having a Pop-Tart.
Good, good. I guess it's still early for you there, right?
Yeah.
Hey Alex, how are you doing? Okay, looks like we've got quite an audience today, building up now. So thanks everyone for joining our Tea with Taiko. So I guess today's session is going to be a bit of like education for people. So you all know we've got our Alpha 6 coming along shortly. So that's going to be announced pretty soon. Just to prepare you guys for the whole event, the next testnet is going to be on Holesky or Holesky, however where you want to pronounce it. The link to the faucet is already dropped into the announcements channel late in December time. So for all of you guys who are not aware of Holesky, you can get some testnet ETH from some of the faucets that are listed on the announcements channel. From that perspective, we have our DevRel Dave on board here. So the purpose of today's call, I guess, is to let people know, what's going to happen with our Alpha 5 testnet, and also, to look forward to our Alpha 6. So, we're going to be making some announcements in the coming days in relation to Alpha 5. So, you guys are going to hear it here first. So Alpha 5, we're going to be deprecating at the end of this month once Alpha 6 comes online. So, you guys can, guys and girls here can, continue to utilize Alpha 5, but, it's going to come to an end shortly. So the end date is 31st of January, just to confirm that date with everybody.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep, can hear you fine.
Okay, sorry about that. For some reason, my mic doesn't work on my phone when I try to join, but happy to be on stage here with you guys.
That's great. I think there's a slight echo now.
Oh no. Okay, all right. Let me try something else.
Maybe go on mute. Okay then. So Dave, from an Alpha 6 perspective, I guess what can people expect that's going to be new? Because we've been hearing a lot about, multi-proofs. Maybe you can explain quickly, what multi-proofs are for those who, are not technical and don't really know what the differences are between, what we've been doing in previous testnets, like our Alpha 5 or Alpha 4s and Alpha 3s, for example, compared to Alpha 6.
Yeah, so in this testnet, that's one of the major differences is we are introducing our based contestable rollup design with multi-proofs, and the basic idea is that you want to use multiple proof systems in the same way that Ethereum uses like multiple clients in order to try to avoid the risk of a bug in one implementation. So we will be testing this in the next testnet. The different types of proofs that we have are like SGX, which is a trusted execution environment type of proof. And then the other one is the ZK proofs, which we have been like working on for a while now. And yeah, so that's one of the major differences in the next testnet, just from a design standpoint. And the cool thing is that this we expect this to be our last testnet, and this is kind of like the more like finalized design. Another interesting component is that I think that it was announced on Twitter by light clients that the Dencun upgrade would be, I believe, like around in the beginning of February. So based off of this current protocol, like we should be able to just flip a switch in order to enable EIP 4844. So we're getting pretty close to what we want, the final end state of what we'd like the rollup to kind of look like. And so this last testnet is kind of just testing out the latest design with multi-proofs, as you mentioned, and this new feature to post to EIP 4844 blobs.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Dave. I guess one of the other questions we've had from people from the community is in terms of like hardware requirements and to prepare them for, this multi-proof environment. So we talked about, you just mentioned SGX, for example, but maybe for the people who've been doing proofs previously, do they need any special hardware? Is there like a minimum requirement required for this?
Yeah, so the storage requirement will be low in the beginning and then grow a lot because there's going to be a lot of people using it and it'll just grow huge. So that'll be like small in the beginning and then grow. Also, Holesky is a relatively young L1 testnet, so that has lower storage requirements. Otherwise, the requirements for running an execution client are pretty much the same. The difference is kind of, as you mentioned, you need to be able to generate SGX proofs as the minimum tier in our like multi-proof system. And we do, I don't think for this exact testnet, but there's going to be like a planned upgrade to it. I think that you need to be able to run an SGX prover, even if you're only generating like ZK proofs. So I'm pretty sure that the minimum requirement for running a prover is to have the hardware, the Intel chipset to generate SGX proofs, but that is like planned to be segregated out in an upgrade so that like people can just run an SGX prover or just generate ZK proofs. Or in the future, when we support other trusted execution environments, like AMD has some as well, like not even just SGX. And there's just a market of like different types of proofs. But for the purposes of this testnet, if you want to run a prover, you need to have be able to generate SGX proofs. So yeah, that's going to be the requirement to be a prover. The proposer is the same kind of deal as before. The proposer needs to acquire a bond from a prover, and this is like kind of the off-chain prover market when they propose a block. So they need to have access to one of these provers that meet the requirements, as I was saying, which is that you need to be able to generate SGX proofs. So that's the main thing. I think in the first, this is quite a new area, at least for Rollups, trying to have the community generate SGX proofs. So we're still like working on refining that workflow. But in terms of like how the verification is done, like being able to verify that you have an SGX machine on chain. But yeah, once you can verify that you have an SGX machine, we can send the test TTKO so that you can put up those bonds for generating the proof. I feel like that was a mouthful, but yeah, basically same node requirements, except if you want to be a prover, you need that Intel SGX processor or whatever.
Quick question about
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just quick question about the prover. Aside from like SGX, are like the hardware requirements going to be a little more, a little more high profile?
So from what I've heard, like on like word on the streets, but I'm not really sure, is that like SGX doesn't take that much overhead. So but to answer your question, I actually don't really know. But I don't think it's very big. I don't think it's like it's something like you need to like double your RAM or like it doesn't have any storage increase. So aside from just having that processor, I don't really think it's too much. To my knowledge, yeah, I think it shouldn't be too much performance increase.
And for those people who want to run, say, a normal prover, so not an SGX one, are the requirements going to be similar to the previous testnets then?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think that I think in the current configuration, you need to be able to generate SGX proofs, even if you're only running a regular like ZK prover. Like I don't think they are separated out, but that is like a planned upgrade. Like we recognize that they should be. I just don't think the current protocol has that feature enabled, but I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to check. But to answer your question, the hardware requirements otherwise, if you just wanted to run a ZK prover, right? Should be the same as testnet.
Okay, thank you. Okay, looks like we've got somebody who wants to ask a question. So let's see. MD Tanjim, you're invited on stage to speak. No. Okay. We have one of our mods, Andy Bush.
Andy,
hey, welcome, Andy.
Welcome.
Yeah, hello guys. I just have like one question that couple our community members were asking me. Like we have in previous testnets this system that those who were running nodes will receive some TTKO tokens to the next like testnet stage. So I just want to ask if this tradition will go on, and those who run nodes in Alpha 5 will receive some TTKOs to start their node journey in Alpha 6.
Yeah, so to answer this question, like I think we have a repo which collects, I'm just looking for it now, which collects some of this data, but I think the basic fact is that like we do take snapshots of the on-chain activity from the testnet. So basically, when you prove a block, it results in a on-chain transaction. Yeah. And that would be the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think to answer the question though, in this sort of respect, Andy, directly, is that you need to have an SGX prover and show that you're running an SGX prover to be dropped some TTKO in this particular instance. I believe that's your question, right, Andy? So the difference will be that we won't be dropping TTKO to the provers for this particular testnet at this point in time, purely because that we will be running, multi-proof this time round, and SGX is one of those requirements. So not everybody will actually have an SGX machine to be able to run that proof. So only those people who have SGX will actually need the TTKO.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. I just heard that Dave was talking about that, so I decided that this question needs to be asked. So sent
That's a good question. No, thank you. That's a good question. Yeah, and hopefully, that clears it up for lots of people as well. So, for those who have an SGX machine and you're running a prover, then yeah, you can get some TTKO from one of us.
Yeah, and also in general, like, I'm kind of curious how this is going to shake out because, like, I think it's going to be kind of difficult to get a SGX machine. I mean, so I think there's going to be a lot less provers overall. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see.
Do you have to run SGX to run a prover, or are you able to run provers in different like proving modes?
Yeah, I was just like curious about that, and I was like, I wasn't sure, and I kind of like answered like, I think you need to have it to be a prover, and I was just like going through our chat and like, I think that you do because of and again, I think that the plan is to update this particular part of the design, but currently it's like random when a block is assigned to a prover. Like, you don't know if it's going to be an SGX proof, so the minimum, so a prover needs to have to be able to generate SGX proofs unless they want to get their like their bond like slashed. So, which is like, I guess fine, but like, yeah, you'll need to prove that in order to get the TTKO in the first place. So, yeah. But I think there are a few cloud providers that have SGX provers. I'm not sure exactly which. I think Azure has it. I don't think Google Cloud does. And then like, I mean, I've been looking around online like for different like I couldn't find any like NUCs that had an Intel SGX processor, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that's also why in the future we're looking to support other trusted execution environments like AMD and stuff. But yeah.
I think also Tencent, they also may have some SGX in there as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they do, I think.
Okay. I think another thing as well, because we are running Holesky or Holesky, in terms of RPC providers as well, we were talking to some of our community members who were asking around, what's available, because the standard ones like Infura and Alchemy don't support Holesky. I believe that we have BlockPi, and we also have Anchor, ANKR as well. And Dave, are those going to be listed in our documentation of how people connect to the RPCs?
Yeah, it will be now that like I wasn't exactly sure myself what were the RPC providers, but now that you mentioned it, I just wrote those down. So yeah, they will be. There's also some others, but like I think they'll get rate limited. But I'll add those as well, so they'll definitely be there. Still, the general recommendation. I mean, if you are serious about running an L2 node, like in general, like I think for any L2, is that it's probably best to just try to run your own L1 archive node. But yes, there should be a list of RPC providers.
Okay, thank you.
So I was wondering if there are any other sort of like interesting features or cool things coming up in the next testnet. Anything that would get people interested?
I mean, I already mentioned it, but I think the coolest thing, and I'm just most excited about, is this flip of the switch for EIP 4844, because that's like the thing that Rollups have just been waiting for forever, and it'll be really cool to see if it all works out. And I know that the engineering team is like really was worked hard on that and is planning to so that, I mean, I think that part's really exciting, and that's not too far away. this Denkun upgrade to Holesky. So yeah, I'd say that for me. I don't know. I think that part's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Hey, welcome, Helios.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dave, I wanted to ask you on that note about 4844. If there's like a very short explain like I'm five of like what this means for rollups, and it's been being discussed more and more, but maybe just describing like why is it beneficial and why is it being weighted for Taiko, but also for other rollups, and like what could maybe happen, like what are the benefits that could come from it?
Yeah. So the most basic idea is that like rollups rely on Ethereum to store their data. Like they rely on them for data availability, and it's just expensive on Ethereum. So that's why people have been looking at like Celestia and like all kinds of other stuff, like other places to store that data. But EIP 4844 enables another place to store that data on Ethereum. Like Ethereum consensus clients will run them, and it's basically just cheaper. It's just a cheaper way to get the data. And you might wonder why or how is it cheaper? And there's a few details, but one of the more major points is that the data is it expires, so it's ephemeral. It doesn't just stay around forever. So yeah, long story short, EIP 4844 is just a cheaper place to store the data for that's the reason why that's so important for rollups. And is because that is the main reason that they're expensive. Because Ethereum tries to make sure that the data doesn't grow too big, and that's why it's expensive, because it's like, this is like don't post so much data here. So I hope that answers it. Kind of. It's basically just that.
Perfect. Nice.
I've got a quick question for you, Dave. Do you have any knowledge about the upcoming NFT Bridge that I've heard a little bit about?
Not really, to be honest. Oh wait, I think I think we'll have it though. Like looking around. So yeah, I think that it looks like we'll have that. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll have the NFT Bridge, and what that enables is people to bridge any NFTs from the L1 over to Taiko L2 and then back again. So if you've got any NFTs on Holesky, then you can move them from Holesky over to Taiko, and from Taiko back over to Holesky. So that's the purpose of the NFT Bridge. So this is something new. Previously, we never had, the transfer of NFTs. It was just purely tokens. So that's something that, you guys and girls out there can go and play around with and test as well.
Thanks for that, Ben.
Yeah. Hey, Spatchib. Welcome to Taiko.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for the welcome. You hear me all right?
Yep. Hey, you fine?
Okay. Hey, I had a quick question. If you guys are open. Is SGX, that trusted execution environment, free and open to run on your own without NPS? If you have the hardware.
Yeah, if you have the hardware for it, then yes.
I had another question. Is the Guardian Provers, how many of those are going to be on Catla, and is that a role or operation available to users?
Ooh, good question. There are, I think, 7 Guardian Provers. Let me see. Yeah, there's 7 Guardian Provers. Looks like 6 are online, 1 is off. But 7 Guardian Provers. And if that is an open role, like, so I'm actually not 100% sure, but like this is getting into like the operation of like the DAO to some degree, which we've done a lot of work on as well. Like this is like more like background kind of stuff, but like infrastructural stuff. But to answer the question in this testnet, kind of no, but for mainnet, like definitely yes, but also maybe not right at the beginning. It all depends on like on some security aspects that I'm not 100% sure about, but the basic idea is that those who are on the security council, which are the ones who are running the guardian provers, could get like kicked out or reelected as other people by Taiko token holders like the DAO. So I don't think that's the current setup for this testnet, but I can check. It's possible that we do have something already set up for that, but yeah.
Roger, very interesting. Right on, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, it looks like we're getting pretty close to the half-hour mark here. So if anybody else has any questions, feel free to either drop them in the chat or raise your hand. All right, looks like I tried to invite a couple people to join the stage. Just gotta accept.
Hello, I just wanted to ask about like if there's just a rough timeline of like how long Alpha 6 would last and like roughly when the mainnet is planned to be like live.
So yeah, just to quickly answer that one. So the timeline for our Alpha 6 will be pretty much right up to, we expect it to be right up to our mainnet launch, with provision of potentially some sort of upgrade, if need be, for 4844, as we mentioned. So the timeline is quite dependent upon the 4844, to be perfectly honest with you. So, we're still on target for the end of Q1 at this point in time. So that's what we're still aiming for. But yeah, if 4844 there's a slight delay with that, then we may, just delay that slightly, because we want to make sure that all the upgrades are all done before we go live. But that's subject to change. But the target is still what we stated previously. So yeah, let's still aim for the 4844 updates.
And if the hardware is capable of like if I have SGX hardware for Alpha 6, I won't need to upgrade hardware again when the mainnet launches.
For a ZK prover, it's likely that you will. But in terms of generating SGX proofs or running a plain RPC node, it would be no. Or running a proposer, but we've also but running a proposer overall is going to be a little bit difficult, which we've talked about a little bit before, just because it's going to be competitive. But but in terms of hardware, it should be no different aside from running a ZK prover. That will have that's expected to have a hardware increase.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it seems like we've reached the half-hour mark. I think if that's it on questions. Yes, and I think that should be it. Ben, Dave, is there anything else you guys wanted to add?
Nothing from my side. Just to let everybody know, we'll be having a community call this Friday. So yeah, let's catch up then. Okay, with that said, we have these calls every week, either office hours or a tea with Taiko, where we provide some education or just general chit-chat stuff. So feel free to join in our future sessions. But for now, thank you everyone for joining, and look forward to talking with you again soon. Take care, everyone.
All right. See you guys.